A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a dramatic escalation of tensions surrounding federal immigration policies, approximately 200 U.S. Marines have been deployed to Los Angeles to secure a federal building amidst ongoing protests against President Donald Trump's administration. The deployment comes on the heels of a week of demonstrations that have swept across the nation, igniting passionate debates about immigration, state sovereignty, and the role of military forces in civilian affairs. These protests, fueled by anger over recent federal immigration sweeps, have seen hundreds of arrests and clashes with law enforcement in various cities. On June 13, 2025, the Marines took over security duties from National Guard troops, who had been stationed in the city following the outbreak of protests. The decision to deploy Marines was made as communities braced for what is expected to be a nationwide wave of demonstrations dubbed the No Kings protests, scheduled to coincide with a military parade in Washington, D.C. Celebrating the Army's 250th birthday, the presence of the Marines was not without controversy. California Governor Gavin Newsom condemned the troop deployment as a serious breach of state sovereignty and a blatant power grab by the Trump administration. He has initiated legal action to halt the deployment, arguing that it violates the 10th Amendment, which delineates the balance of power between state and federal governments. In a ruling from the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, a federal judge temporarily blocked an order requiring the return of National Guard troops to California, stating that the current situation in Los Angeles does not meet the legal definition of a rebellion. Despite the military's involvement, officials have stated that active duty troops are prohibited by federal law from engaging in law enforcement activities. Major General Scott Sherman, overseeing the combined military presence, clarified that the Marines would not be detaining individuals. However, one man was briefly detained on Friday after failing to comply with commands while approaching the secured area, only to be released without charges shortly thereafter. The protests have drawn significant public attention, with demonstrators rallying against the Trump administration's immigration policies. Many have criticized the characterization of Los Angeles as a war zone by the administration, emphasizing that the protests have largely been peaceful, albeit with some instances of violence and arrests. Over the past week, law enforcement reported around 500 arrests, primarily for failure to disperse, with a handful of more serious charges filed, including assaults on officers and possession of weapons. As the situation unfolds, Los Angeles has implemented an 8 p.m. curfew in a designated area of downtown, while Mayor Karen Bass has indicated that there is no set end date for the curfew. The No Kings protests are anticipated to occur in nearly 2,000 locations nationwide, as activists mobilize against what they perceive as oppressive federal policies. The deployment of military forces to assist in domestic matters raises significant questions about the role of the military in civilian life and the implications for civil liberties. As tensions continue to simmer, many are watching closely to see how the situation will evolve in the coming days, particularly with the planned nationwide demonstrations set to take place. In the face of these developments, the dialogue surrounding immigration, state rights, and federal authority remains heated, with both supporters and detractors of the deployment voicing their opinions passionately. With the court hearing scheduled for Tuesday, the legal battles over the use of military forces in civilian contexts are far from over, and the outcomes could have lasting implications for the future of governance and civil rights in the United States. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.